Blue Eyes does not stop as we get the chance to see some interesting innovations. And yes, that is Empty Jar, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content as we start the arc for the new ban list here. Chicken Laying Blue Eyes here has been getting a little bit of love. This actually ended up tooling a Tier Elements deck, kind of stepping up to the new format here, but I mean, let's be honest here. Get some little interesting cases of interesting for this deck. Now, I see Strength and Unity. If you ritual summon a fusion monster using Blue Eyes or Dark Magician, target one card your opponent controls or in the graveyard, banish it. It says face-up card from your hand to field graveyard, target a level 7 or higher normal monster to graveyard and add it to your hand, or shuffle into the deck. So this gives you a reuse for your one Blue Eyes, and of course, Stone Tablet shenanigans as well here. Special summon the Blue Eyes from the hand or grave. It's basically going to get continued reuse out of this. I definitely like what we're doing here. It definitely, even though there's like not a lot of Blue Eyes here, you're going to be passing those Blue Eyes around the table in all sorts of shenanigans to capitalize and just get as much value off of it as you can. So I have 2 copies of Aluber, the Jester of Despia, 2 copies of the Blue Eyes Jet. We have 2 copies of Ecclesia with 1 Fleur-de-Lis, so we're still riding on the very basic engine here for this. We have 1 copy of Good Old Fallen of Albaz. We have 2 copies of the White Stone of Ancients, 1 the White Stone of Legend, and then 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now, before you're like, Robbie, should we be playing more than 1 Blue Eyes? It's a brick at this point, man. Like, you're through the era now that you have to play at the least amount of bricks that you can in your deck. That's why, like, the Fallen of Albaz here it's a one of. If you lose it, there's not really much you can do about it. We also have triple branded fusion, 2 branded opening, 1 called by the grave, 1 Despia Theater, 1 Dragon Shrine with 1 fusion deployment. Got the triple Nadir Servants, 2 Pot of Prosperities, your 1 Strength and Unity, triple Super Poly, 1 copy of the Ultimate Fusion, 2 Dogmatica Punishments, triple copies of Skildred, 1 Solemn Judgment, and triple copies of the True Light here. Down here in the extract, we have 1 Lalam Mirage for protection, 1 Omega, 1 Titaniclad, 1 Starving Venom with 1 Mudmud, 1 Mirror Jade, 1 copy of Good Old Lubellion, 2 Garuda, 1 Anintis, 1 Quadratus, then we got 1 Blue Eyes Tyrant, 2 copies of Albion, and 1 Alba Lenitus. Then we have 1 Pankratops, 1 Change Art, triple Cosmic Cyclone, triple Forbidden Droplet, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, triple Ultimate Slayer, 1 Appointer, and 2 copies of Solemn Judgment here, wrapping up your interesting Blue Eyes Dogmatica deck. Now, this is the piece that I am super excited to talk about here. Now, this showed up, Kami shared this from another YouTuber, and I've been playtesting this list. I will tell you that this deck is actually kind of hard to play. Now, if you're probably like, well, why the inclusion of the Runic cards in here? This actually guarantees like a draw 3 package. So as you're filtering through the deck, it also punishes your opponent off of banishes. I mean, every one of these Runic cards gives you a discard outlet to search for the fountain. All right, so that's going to be very important as well. The only real issue I've ran into while playing this is not playing the Morphing Jar number 2. It makes me super sad. You have to, obviously, like, these 2 cards are going to be your facilitators for playing this. Like, these really do make the world go round, but the problem is getting to them. I mean, your ways to get, you have 2 and a Foolish Burial, and then you have a Revive spell card here in order to get to them. That is a lot to take in here. So, unfortunately, is this, like, super consistent? No. Is it a lot of fun? Oh, yeah, it is. I just wish we had, like, maybe better filtering draw cards within the deck here. The good news is if you see these, you're good to go. I had one game where I got down to 10 cards in deck, and I'd only see Morphing Jar at that point. No Cyber Jar. So we have 1 Cyber Jar with 1 Morphing Jar, 2 copies of AD Changer, 2 copies of Dragged Down into the Grave, triple copies of Book of Taio, this is going to be our big flipper, triple copies of Shallow Grave, triple copies of Dark Willow No More. Honestly, you kind of need this for going second, especially in the current era. As much as I want to be like, yeah, you could cut these, I really don't think so. Like, this card has been really good to me. We have 1 card Destruction, triple Dark World Dealings, 1 Upstart, one Foolish Burial, one Into the Void. We got 2 copies of Magical Stone Excavation, 2 copies of Book of Moon, triple copies of the Freezing Curses, triple copies of Runic Tip, 2 copies of Flashing Fire, 1 Runic Destruction, 2 copies of Serial Spell, and then we have 2 copies of Hand Destruction with 1 Fountain. Down the extra deck, we have 2 Relinquished Anima, 2 Link Karibos, 2 Novas, triple Hugin, 2 Initis, 2 Skull Warrior, and then 2 copies of Makaba here. Side deck had like Mystic Minds and stuff in it, but I haven't got the chance to adapt those into like an actual full side. This has been a lot of fun, per se. Next up here is Salamangreat. Now I'm going to be completely honest with you here. I didn't think that Salad would have a lot of success out here. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. This deck has pretty much taken a very huge backseat to the community. And I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing. I still do think on a local level that this deck will do a lot of things. One interesting thing I do have on this list, though, is the enemy controllers here. This was something that Sprite was doing for a little while, but the ability to tribute, take an opponent's monster. If your opponent sets up like a threat, you can immediately link it out. It is an inherent neg 1, but I mean, this deck doesn't really care. Yeah, if you need to put, one of your free advantage trees that you did like mid-combo into the graveyard to take something, you're free to do so. And I think it's like the most important part of this deck at the end of the day is, this, as a tech choice, this is pretty good. And of course, straight off the bat here, you got the triple will, the Salamangreat. This is another one of those cards that I've only like seen 2 ofs, maybe 1 ofs for so long. So to see this, starting back up in larger numbers is kind of nice. So we have only 2 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring in the main deck, triple copies of the Flame Buffalo, 1 copy of Salamangreat Falco, 1 Fowl, triple copies of Foxy, 1 Gazelle, 2 copies of Jack Jaguar, triple copies of Spinny, and then we're still playing 1 copy of Sea Archiver because this card is free. 1 Called by the Grave, we have 2 copies of Silent Mining, 2 copies of Enemy Controller, 2 copies of Forbidden Droplets, 2 Potted Desires. Finally, somebody's playing Desires. You know how many lists I saw in like the last block of things that nobody wanted to play Desires? Like, this is free draw resource for the deck. We have triple copies of Circle, because why wouldn't you play it? Still 1 Sanctuary, triple copies of Will, triple copies of Imperm, 2 Rage, and 2 Roar, wrapping up the main deck. So yeah, very standardized ratios here from the very old block. Next deck here, we have 1 Update Jammer, 1 copy of the Transcode Talker, 1 Splash Mage, triple copies of the Sunlight Wolf, 2 copies of Heat Leo, triple copies of Balinix, 1 Apo, 1 Axis Code, 1 Mirage Stalio, and 1 Abyssdweller. So deck here we have triple Lava Golem with the 1 Meow Click. Alright, so we're actually playing the Anti-Mystic Mind card. Remember, this is a continuous effect. This bypasses. We have triple Big Ball, triple Dark Roll No More, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 Red Reboot, and triple copies of Solemn Judgment here. Wrapping up, you guessed it. Yeah, Salamangreat, interesting. Last we have here is an Adventure Eldritch list that popped up online. Still basically completely legal, good to go. We're also playing a mini branded package in the side deck of all places here to kind of give you access to, I guess, some different bits and pieces along the way. So we have 1 copy of Pankratops, 2 copies of Eldritch the Golden Lord, 1 Illegal Knight, triple copies of Lava Golem, full commitment. We have 1 Griffin Rider, triple copies of Water Enchantress, 1 Draco Back, 1 Faithful Adventure, 1 Arby's Feather Duster, triple copies of the Mystical of the Mine, triple copies of Pot of Prosperity for Digging Power, triple copies of Rite of Armesier, triple copies of Conquistador, triple copies of Dogmatica Punishment, triple copies of the Scarlet Sanguine, 2 Hugwaros, triple Skill Drain, and triple copies of Solemn Judgment. Down here in the next deck, we have 1 Vampire Sucker, 1 Underworld Goddess, 1 Lena, 1 Link Spider with 1 Iria. We have 1 Boral Sword Dragon, 1 Artemis, 1 Mirror Jade with 1 Masquerade, 1 Lubillion, 1 Guardian Chimera, 2 Anitis, 1 Albion, and 1 Alba Lenitis. Side deck here, we have 1 Aluber with 1 Fallen of Albaz, triple copies of Ghostball and Haunted Mansion, triple copies of Branded Fusion, 1 Brandon Red, triple copies of Ice Dragon's Prison, and triple copies of There Can Only Be One here. Wrapping up the Adventure Eldritch with a branded package. I'm actually very intrigued to, I know, we finished 5-2-1, and I don't think that's horrible, but it's interesting to see that, we opted to play this in the side. I guess by doing this, we can play more of an advantage line here for the adventure package, which is fine. But I mean, like, you're still going to be a Mystic Mine, set the entire world deck, and, you know, hope that things go your way at the end of the day. So that wraps up the very interesting deck profiles. I look forward to seeing, like, more results here roll out in the next couple weeks, because honestly, I think there's a lot to be seen here in the upcoming format. So guys, please comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.